The special call meeting of the Common Council to order. It is now 6:01. This is a reminder to make sure you turn off your you speak clearly into the microphone, turn off your cell phones. I don't know why everybody is standing up, but I'm glad you are. Oh yeah, I mean, we don't usually, but since everybody's standing up, we will.
I'm just ready for it.
All right, Mayor, why don't you lead us in the pledge?
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Standing for a moment of silent prayer meditation. Thank you very much. I take it most of you have been to a council meeting before since you all stood up like when we're ready to go. All right, hey, Angie, would you do a roll call, please?
Councilman Holtz.
Present.
Councilman Curry. Councilwoman King.
Here.
Councilman Mishler.
Present.
Councilman Fish. Councilwoman Hines.
Here.
Councilman Crabtree.
Here.
Councilman Hanky. President Dawson.
Present. We have a quorum, and we have department heads and our city clerk here for the budget. Would you read the special call, please, Angie?
To the city clerk and members of the Common Council of the City of Elkhart, Indiana, ladies and gentlemen, you are hereby notified that in accordance with the powers vested in me by the statutes of the state of Indiana and the ordinances of the City of Elkhart, Indiana, I hereby call a special call meeting of the Common Council to be held in the municipal building in the council chambers on the second floor, 229 South 2nd Street, Elkhart, Indiana, on Thursday, the 17th of October, 2024 at 6 p.m. The purpose of this meeting will be to adopt the 2025 budget and to adopt the 2025 salary ordinances for everyone except the fire department, which will be adopted at the regular council meeting on Monday, October 21st. Proposed ordinance 24-0-34, an ordinance adopting the operating budget for the 2025 calendar year, appropriating funds for such purpose and establishing the tax rate for the City of Elkhart. Proposed ordinance 24-0-35, an ordinance fixing the annual salaries of elected officials of the City of Elkhart, Indiana for the calendar year 2025. Proposed ordinance 24-0-36, an ordinance adopting a schedule of salaries and wages for appointed officers and other salaried employees of the City of Elkhart, Indiana for the year 2025. Proposed ordinance 24-0-37, an ordinance adopting a schedule of salaries and other compensation for police officers of the City of Elkhart, Indiana for the calendar year 2025. Proposed ordinance 24-0-40, an ordinance adopting the schedule of salaries and other compensation for the fire department of the City of Elkhart, Indiana for the calendar year 2025. This will be on first reading only. Second and third reading will be held on Monday, October 21st, 2024. The city clerk is hereby ordered to prepare and cause to be served to each council member a certified copy of the special call in accordance with the law. RSL Dawson, attested by Deborah D. Barrett.
Thank you. Angie, would you read proposed ordinance 24-0-34 by title?
Proposed ordinance 24-0-34, an ordinance adopting the operating budget for the 2025 calendar year, appropriating funds for such purpose, and establishing the tax rate for the City of Elkhart.
I got a motion and a second to adopt this on second reading.
Motion to adopt.
Got a motion by Mrs. Hines, second by Mr. Fish for adoption. Council discussion. Mrs. Hines.
I just want to say this whole process of the budget is very taunting on everyone, but I want to compliment the administration and all the department heads and anyone else that was a part of putting the budget together and the presentations that were given at the budget hearing, although a very long day for all of us, very thorough. And it was nice, at least for me, even though I've been on the council prior, a lot of the department heads have changed. And so putting a face to names and just the information provided and in a timely manner, the questions that were asked, getting those answers to us prior to this meeting, where I'm very appreciative and appreciate what you guys do. So thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hines. Any other council discussion? Mr. Hanky. Your mic on?
Is this a good time for amendments?
Yes.
Okay. So I appreciate, because I do think the budget process was pretty clean. I think I have some significant concerns on trending, and I would hope, because the budget isn't truly reflective of reality, once we look at the 6-month and encumbered dollars and the rollover of dollars coming in. I know Jamie is very much aware of it, mentioned it at the budget hearings. You know, it'd be nice to have a trend after transfers to know where the real money ended up, and I think that would help us moving forward. And then real numbers with a contingency by percentage of overall budget. So we know where we can transfer from or have a common contingency fund for all departments based on transfer agreements passed by council. With that said, I appreciated each department head that helped me through their budget process. There are probably, as I reflected on trend plus request, we're about $7 million overfunded. And I'm wondering, since it's a $124 million budget, if even $1 million could be reduced, that's 1/124th of the entire budget. Knowing that we can transfer, knowing that we can alter moving forward, it just seems as though we have fluff in some departments that are very heavily weighted. I would suggest to you that that is both police, fire, because their budgets are so large. And it just gives a lot of wiggle room, and if it's there, it's more likely to be spent.
Mr. Hinkie, we need a motion before we start the discussion.
I'm trying to say
if you would make a motion and we get a second, then we can have some discussion on it.
I'll make the motion if you make the second.
Okay, make the motion.
Sorry, Rod, but in the mayor's department, looks like you're underfunded, $29,638. So I can't take anything from that budget.
No, we need motions. We don't need you to go through every budget. If you have a motion for each budget, please make it. That's why we're here.
I'm getting right there. It's only $124 million.
We spent 7 hours on September 23rd going detailed over this. So if you have a motion, please make it so we can have a discussion on the motion.
All right, I'll try not to get in front of your motions then. Okay, so we're looking at, we'll make the easy ones first since we know how this is going to go. For Common Council, that would be page 26, Professional Services. The history by 3 years of trend. I am requesting that we reduce line item 1101-5-009-431-400 by $30,000.
The motion, is there a second? We have a motion, is there a second? We have a motion, is there a second? Motion dies for lack of a second.
In Human Resources, page 30, line item 1101-5-011-439-910, that's training and education, to be reduced by $20,000.
There a motion? Is there a second? Is there a second? Is there a second? There's no second, motion dies.
Legal's underfunded. Page 34, Economic Development, line item 1101-5-016-4110130, full-time wages, is overfunded, so I'm asking for a reduction of $25,000.
Motion, is there a second? Is there a second? Is there a second? Motion dies for lack of a second.
Page 36, Planning, line item 1101-5-017- 4110130, significantly overfunded. Motion for a reduction of $50,000.
Is there a second to the motion? Is there a second to the motion? Is there a second to the motion? Motion dies for lack of a second.
Fire Department, page 40. In the total personnel services, in which there is a full-time line item, 1101-5-214-411-0130, is overfunded by $1.59 million, asking for a reduction of $500,000.
I have a motion. Is there a second? Is there a second? Is there a second? Motion dies for lack of a second.
Police Department, page 46. Overfunded by 1.646206. So under full-time line item 1101-5-219-411-0130, a reduction of $500,000.
Motion. Is there a second? Is there a second? Is there a second? Motion dies for lack of a second.
In Buildings and Grounds, page 52, line item 1101-5-303-411-0140, significantly overfunded, asking for a reduction of $75,000.
Motion, is there a second? Is there a second? Is there a second? Motion dies for lack of a second.
Parks and Recreation, page 62. Parks and Rec, $261,812 overfunded, asking for a reduction in 2204-5-501-4110130 of $250,000.
Motion, is there a second? Is there a second? Is there a second? Motion dies for lack of a second.
I think I will wait and hear all of the Democratic amendments.
Thank you very
Before I
much.
move on.
At this time, I would like to read a statement from Brent Curry, who couldn't be here. He said, Hi, Iris, I will not be at the council meeting tonight. This is a very responsible budget, which I can support, a budget that is less than revenue projected. The special call meeting conflicted with a prior appointment he had, so he wanted me to make sure I echo his support of the budget. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, I open up to the public. Is there any in the public who would like to speak with regards to the proposed 2025 budget? Seeing none, we turn it back to the council floor. Is there any more council discussion? Seeing none, Angie, would you do a roll call vote on second reading, please?
Councilman Holtz.
Aye.
Councilwoman King.
Yes.
Councilman Mishler.
Aye.
Councilman Fish.
Yes.
Councilwoman Hines.
Yes.
Councilman Crabtree.
Yes.
Councilman Hanky.
No.
President Dawson.
Aye. Motion for third and final.
Motion for third and final?
Got a motion for Mrs. Hines, second from Mr. Mishler. Would you please read this by title and do a roll call vote, please?
Proposed ordinance 24-0-34, an ordinance adopting the operating budget for the 2025 calendar year, appropriating funds for such purpose, and establishing the tax rate for the city of Elkhart. Councilman Holtz.
Aye.
Councilwoman King.
Yes.
Councilman Mishler.
Aye.
Councilman Fish.
Yes.
Councilwoman Hines.
Yes.
Councilman Crabtree.
Yes.
Councilman Hanky.
No.
President Dawson.
Aye.
Passes 7-1.
Thank you very much. Would you please read proposed ordinance 24-0-35 by title, please?
Proposed ordinance 24-0-35, an ordinance fixing the annual salaries of elected officials of the city of Elkhart, Indiana for the calendar year 2025.
I got a motion and a second to adopt this ordinance.
Motion to adopt?
A Motion for Mrs. Hines, second for Mr. Fish for adoption. Council discussion. None, I'll open up to the public. Is there anyone in the public who would like to speak with regards to this ordinance? Please come forward. Seeing none, we turn it back to the council. Angie, would you do a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Holtz?
Aye.
Councilwoman King?
Yes.
Councilman Mishler?
Aye.
Councilman Fish?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hines?
Yes.
Councilman Crabtree?
No.
Councilman Hanky? President Dawson?
Aye. Would you do a roll call vote on, would you read it by title? And do. What's for Mr. Mishler? Second for Mr.
Second.
Oates. Would you read it by title, please, and roll call vote, please.
Proposed ordinance 24-0-35, an ordinance fixing the annual salaries of elected officials of the city of Elkhart, Indiana for the calendar year 2025. Councilman Holtz.
Aye.
Councilwoman King.
Yes.
Councilman Mishler.
Aye.
Councilman Fish.
Yes.
Councilwoman Hines.
Yes.
Councilman Crabtree.
No.
Councilman Hanky. President Dawson.
Aye.
Passes 6-2.
Thank you. Would you read proposed ordinance 24-0-36 by title, please?
Proposed ordinance 24-0-36, an ordinance fixing the salaries and wages for appointed officers and other salaried employees of the city of Elkhart, Indiana for the calendar year 2025.
Motion and second to adopt?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Crabtree, second by Mr. Fish. Council discussion. Seeing none, I open it up to the public. Anyone in the public would like to speak with regards to this ordinance? Seeing none, we turn it back to the council. Angie, would you do a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Holtz.
Aye.
Councilwoman King.
Yes.
Councilman Mishler.
Aye.
Councilman Fish.
Yes.
Councilwoman Hines.
Yes.
Councilman Crabtree.
Yes.
Councilman Hanky. President Dawson.
Aye.
Third and final.
I had a motion for Mr.
Second.
Mishler, second for Mrs. Hines for third and final. Would you read this by title and do a roll call vote, please?
Proposed ordinance 24-0-36, an ordinance fixing the salaries and wages for appointed officers and other salaried employees of the city of Elkhart, Indiana for the year 2025. Councilman Holtz.
Aye.
Councilwoman King.
Yes.
Councilman Mishler.
Aye.
Councilman Fish.
Yes.
Councilwoman Hines.
Yes.
Councilman Crabtree.
Yes.
Councilman Hanky.
Aye.
President Dawson.
Aye.
Passes 8-0.
Thank you. Would you read proposed ordinance 24-0-37 by its title, please?
Proposed ordinance 24-0-37, an ordinance adopting a schedule of salaries and other compensation for the police officers of the city of Elkhart, Indiana for the calendar year 2025.
I get a motion and a second for adoption.
So moved.
By Mr. Crabtree, second by Mr. Fish. Council discussion. Seeing none, we'll open up to the public. Is there anyone in the public who would like to speak? Seeing none, we return it back to the council floor. Angie, would you do a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Holtz.
Aye.
Councilwoman King.
Yes.
Councilman Mishler.
Aye.
Councilman Fish.
Yes.
Councilwoman Hines.
Yes.
Councilman Crabtree.
Yes.
Councilman Hanky.
Aye.
President Dawson.
Aye.
Third and final.
Got a motion
Second.
for Mr. Crabtree, second for Mrs. Hines for third and final. Angie, would you read this by title and do a roll call vote, please?
Proposed ordinance 24-0-37, an ordinance adopting a schedule of salaries and other compensation for the police officers of the city of Elkhart, Indiana for the calendar year 2025. Councilman Holtz.
Aye.
Councilwoman King.
Yes.
Councilman Mishler.
Aye.
Councilman Fish.
Yes.
Councilwoman Hines.
Yes.
Councilman Crabtree.
Yes.
Councilman Hanky.
Aye.
President Dawson.
Aye.
Passes 8-0.
Thank you. Ordinance on first reading, would you read proposed ordinance 24-0-40 by title, please?
Proposed ordinance 24-0-40, an ordinance adopting a schedule of salaries and other compensation for the fire department of the city of Elkhart, Indiana for the calendar year 2025.
There are no objections. This will be passed on the second reading and at our meeting on Monday, the 21st. Having no other business, could I get a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Got a motion by Mr. Fish,
Second.
second by Mr. Mishler for adjournment. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Why do we do that for the fire?
Advertising, but also